How many humans do we have in the room? I love humans so much. I love our humanity. And I'm grateful, as I said, to be here. And I'm grateful that Reverend Jill trusts me enough to show up and be with her community. And I'm so grateful for that. And grateful to meet each of you. And we're going to dig in this morning. We're going to dig into this idea of the spirituality of being human. Okay, because we've got some humanness. We live in a human world. We live in this kind of difficult world sometimes, and we're going to look at the idea of spiritual bypassing. How many of you have heard that term before? Yeah. So before we do that, I know that all month, I guess you've been talking about getting your ducks in a row. You ever had the feeling like every time you try to get your ducks in the row, there's one duck that's going off this direction and three ducks going off that direction, and then you spend all your time trying to get all your ducks in a row, and it is exhausting, right? It is exhausting, and so maybe as we're looking at this, it's like wholeness. How can we feel and deeply experience our wholeness in the middle of our ducks aren't that our ducks being in a row means that they're going in and out, right? They're going here, they're going there, they're going over here, but the wholeness of the whole play is perfect. That's the way it is. So we want to dip into that a little bit. Would that be okay? Remember? So remember when I come here, I like audience participation, so I don't feel like I'm here all alone. When I ask a question, maybe you can answer, right? Or not, or you'll just understand that that's how I like to play. All right, so let's look at this. Spiritual bypassing is the tendency to use spiritual ideas, practices, or beliefs to avoid dealing with difficult emotions, unresolved wounds, personal responsibilities, or real life challenges. And this term was coined by psychologist and Buddhist teacher John Wellwood, who described it as using spirituality to rise above uh, painful human experiences rather than moving through them. Moving above them, painful experiences, rather than moving through them. Why would it be important to move through them? It's called healing. We can move above them, and heaven knows I have become a master at moving above them, but they stay in place. So as we spiritually mature, we realize that there is a skill and a practice of moving through these things, and that is how it gets healed. And I'm going to dig into this a little bit more, but I just want to kind of look at some of the ways that this shows up in spirituality and spiritual circles. Okay, because spiritual bypassing can sound very spiritual. It's very spiritual. Everything happens for a reason. Well, okay, nothing wrong with that. What about just stay positive? If you just stay positive, it's all going to get better. What about it's all perfect, whole and complete? Don't give any energy to that negativity. Don't give any energy to that negativity. Don't look at, don't give any energy to it. What are some other ones that you've heard or you said? Yeah, that's good. Buck it up. Yeah, when you're strong, you just overcome. You just put that at the side. Have you ever become a master at compartmentalizing? Oh yeah. This is hurt. I'm just going to put this over here. I'm going to put that over there, and then I'm going to move forward and move forward and move forward and move forward. There's a place for that. Okay, there's a place for that, but we want to wake up and understand what's happening. We want to see ourselves. Spirituality is about seeing. Okay, it's about seeing. It's about awareness, beginning to see the tendencies of the mind, seeing the trauma, seeing the things, because as we are able to stand in with presence and to see and witness our own experiences, they become transformed through the alchemy of awareness. So, for example, are we using, this is a good question to ask, are we using spiritual truth to illuminate our experience or escape it? Okay, we're going to sit with that a minute. For example, some of the common painful experiences. One is grief, right? Grief. Do we just go, if we've lost somebody, do we just go to this automatic saying, "Oh, we know they're eternal being and they're in a better place"? You go up to somebody that's grieving and say, "Oh, but we know the spiritual truth that they're just in a higher place." And when I lost my daughter 4 years ago, I wasn't interested in hearing that from anybody. Right? What is the greatest thing that you can give to someone when they're in grief? Presence, being with them in their grief, listening. When we have an experience of something and we deny it, it gets stuck in the body and we have to do it again. Okay. So being with what is, I learned I cry when I need to, I feel what I need to. And this is what it looks like. Right? Did I know that she's in a better place and she's an eternal being? Of course. Doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with that, right? So being with that. So that one's kind of obvious, right? Another one, anger. Anger is a low vibration. Like we know that. I mean, Abraham said that, right? Anger is a low vibration. But what happens if we just stuff it and pretend we don't feel it? It's stuck in the body. We have to understand that the body is where emotions dwell. Okay. And we'll get into that in a minute. So anger, bypassing is low vibration. My anger is, or it's a spiritual bypassing. Anger is a low vibration. I shouldn't feel it. But a healthy spirituality, anger is showing me something important that needs attention. Or maybe it's just trapped anger that was triggered by an event and we can breathe through it. Doesn't mean we need to hit anybody, but we can breathe. We can maybe no, breathe through it. But that's what pillows are for, right? Yeah. Trauma, spiritual bypassing. I just need to meditate and move beyond this so I can transcend it. It might help you cope and it might feel better for a minute. But if it is unprocessed, it will stay. So the healthy spirituality is saying, I can seek healing and support, therapy, spiritual practice, right? We need tools. Some things we don't just handle by ourselves. We can have support. So common signs, we can recognize them in ourselves. Any difficulty acknowledging painful emotions, or if we're excessively positive, even when it like excessively positive. Have you ever been around someone that's so excessively positive? Like even when you know that it's like everything's a mess inside them, you can feel it, but they're excessively positive. It is like putting whipped cream on a pile of manure, right? Like it's like ridiculous. Avoiding conflict in the name of peace, like not dealing with conflict in the name of peace, or using forgiveness to skip healthy boundaries. Judging emotions as spiritual or unspiritual. Believing enlightenment means never feeling fear, sadness, or anger. Enlightenment means being awake and experiencing what is there and seeing it without being lost in it. And using spiritual language to avoid accountability. Well, this is just what God looks like today. So let's look at this. I'm going to make a confession. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I got into New Thought almost 40 years ago, I totally got into to New Thought to learn how to spiritual bypass, even though I didn't know it at the time. I wanted to make my life better. I wanted to feel better and not feel so afraid. And I found a place that taught me that I could change my life by changing my thinking. And I was a young woman with divorce with 3 small children, and I was scared to death every day on how I was going to support my kids or get on with life. So I found a religious science church, and I began to learn that if I could change my consciousness, I could change my life. And that gave me power because now I had something to do. Give me the to do. Okay, steps 1, 2, 3. I could really learn how to change my thinking, change my life. Okay. And I got into it and I studied, and I have a strong mind. And I liked that I could change the direction of my mind and feel better. And that really became my practice. And it became, and all through, training and practitioner training and ministerial training. Of course, during that, I learned to meditate and I learned to go into a deeper spiritual place too. But I was still working on the mind. And, and it's a very important part of our journey. It's a very important part of our journey. As I look back, though, I also see how I was had a deep need to be perfect and do it right and always do it right, and embracing my humanity and my imperfection was very scary for me. And I also discovered that it wasn't until I really began to not approach things that way, but approach things from listening to my emotions as a signal to what needed to be felt or experienced. Then the transformation became more of a transformation internally, a wholeness. Because for me, the fear was a big thing for me. Fear of support. If my childhood wasn't traumatic in horrific ways, but it was just a constant insecurity and instability and a constant fear, right? So that carried on into, listen, my whole life. Really, it was just like, even when things are going good, there it's right on the back corner waiting to come through and attack. And I'll get to that. I'll get to some of this, another thing in a moment. But the thing I'd like to understand first is that our emotions are of the body. Where do we feel them? In the body. We feel them in the body. The pain is in the body. We live in a world of duality. Okay? We didn't come here as we came here to live in duality and to bring and to see and to witness and to wake up to spirituality and oneness and wholeness in the middle of duality. So guess what? It's not all that easy. Okay? It really isn't. Like, let's give each other a hand. Welcome to Earth. You're doing good. We love you. We know it's not always easy. There's tough times where you can't even get a good night's sleep. I mean, it's basic, right? Sometimes I can't get a good night's sleep at night. It's okay. The embracing of our human experience enables us to move through some of that challenge and that pain. For example, when I say emotions are in the body, we've all heard about our nervous system, right? And a healthy nervous system is able to regulate when we get anxious or we get stressed or we get angry or have these emotions that are rising, that we are able to have some tools in our tool belt to be able to calm down, to be able to feel and to experience. As spirituality, and what I'm talking about is, and actually transforming some of that past pain, is a skill of calming the nervous system, not as a way to avoid, not as a way to push it away, but as a way to transform, as an alchemy to transform the pain into the light. All right. So, um, have you ever not come to the center because you were feeling bad and you didn't want to be around all those positive people? I mean, I heard that all the time when I was in ministry. I didn't come last week because I just wasn't feeling right. I'm like, that's the time to come because you feel better when you leave, right? But and you've all known, and I've talked to tons of people over the years. Was like, no, I just felt like I wouldn't. like I feel some shame. Like I have a little bit of shame that I'm not spiritual enough to overcome this. When we're in the middle of the darkest times, there's no shame in that. That is the opportunity to I know it sounds so trite that that is the time for the greatest healing, but it is. And it is the time to let other people support you as well. To say I need help, to say I need a hug. We only reason for spiritual community is to have people on the journey with us that we can trust, that we can be ourselves with. Because when we're ourselves and we can feel safe, emotionally safe enough to be ourselves in community, that's when transformation happens. Come on, you all have one of those good friends that you can just be with and be yourself, right? And cry on their shoulder, and or a therapist, or where you can really say what's true in the moment, not spiritual high mighty truth, what's true in the moment. When what's true in the moment is truly felt, maybe shared, it dissipates. Haven't you done that when someone sits with you and you just tell them, I really feel so afraid right now. I'm so afraid. And when by saying the words, it's like it gets out of your body. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. I'm not afraid anymore. Sometimes it's not that easy, but that is the truth. It's like we can when we feel it, it can be released. So I'll share an example. Last time I was here in February, some of you weren't here, some of you were here, and you probably don't remember. It's been a long time ago, but I certainly remember, because that week before I came here, and I did share, I lost a client. So I work in business now, and I lost a client that was 75% of my business, like that. And I mentioned that because we were talking about creating the new. Hallelujah. But at the time, I was afraid. Okay. But what I did know, that my job wasn't to just keep affirming abundance and everything's good. My job became tending to my nervous system. That's it. For 2 to 3 weeks, I just I just noticed when I was anxious, which was all the time, and I just breathed and tried to stay in the moment as much as possible, and just continue to breathe, and little pieces of tending to my nervous system, of petting myself, of saying everything's going to be okay, it's going to be okay, because this wasn't that experience. This was a lifetime of fear and trauma about worrying about the future. So I just continued tending to my nervous system. I couldn't even do a spiritual mind treatment or anything, to tell you the truth. I didn't have the wherewithal to, like, I had it, an underlying belief that when one door closes, another one opens. So I'd say things like that to myself. Well, one door closes, okay, just today, just do today. What are you going to do today? Just take one day at a time and see what unfolds. About 2 to 3 weeks of tending to my nervous system, I began to realize I really wasn't in trauma anymore. I wasn't in fear. Life went on. And I noticed that I didn't get any business from that client. But you know what? Business came in from other ways. I haven't lacked at all. Business came in from other ways. And I just kept working on my nervous system. So that we'll stop for a moment. And I just want to really drive that home. It wasn't about, like, just saying a higher truth. Like, I mean, yes, I did, but I can't see a higher truth if my nervous system is wackadoodle, because you have no energy going to your frontal lobe. Okay, it's science. There's no energy going to the frontal lobe, and you're completely in the amygdala in a stress response. So it's like, calm the nervous system down. Then you can go to a higher truth. Anyway, I'm happy to report, this is the strangest thing, but this week, they invited, but they invited me to uh, apply for a new contract, and they just awarded to our company for 3 years, a 3-year contract. They had cut me off completely. It was, I won't go into it. It wasn't anything that I did wrong or anything like that. It was just the nature of structures of business. So it was like there was like just this awareness that, spirit's working. Like this alignment with source is the source. This good will come in however it comes in, right? And so, but it does feel good, to tell you the truth, because I really like to have some security and to know that something's there. So Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Sit with that a minute, right? This is called transformation, alchemy, by transmuting that, not just imagining light and fairy dust. And Richard Rohr says, if we do not transform our pain, we will most assuredly transmit it. Right? Have you ever known anyone that's got a lot of inner pain and they cause pain? Right? All right. So our spiritual goal isn't to become less human. Maybe it's to become more fully human while remembering and waking up to our divine nature. I love the ocean metaphor. Of course, we've seen it and heard it, that we're like the ocean. And the waves are like the emotions. They come and go. They do all kinds of things. There's all kinds of things going on with the waves. If it's a stormy day, they're really going. If there's lots of boats, they're going. It's like there's all this stuff going up on the surface, the emotions. But deep into the ocean, deep into the lake, deep into the deep waters is stillness. And we always have both. We have the stillness and we have this. But when we fight the waves, or when we judge the waves, we can't experience the fullness of ourselves as the whole ocean, right? So one of my favorite poems that illustrates this is from the great Rumi, called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I love this because it actually illustrates, in a way, what we're talking about transforming the internal pain versus moving, besides escaping it. Welcoming it is not easy. It is easy to get lost and buried by the waves. It is easy to get sunk by just focusing on the emotions. So I'm not suggesting that. Welcoming it with some awareness is being able to see that this is clearing me out. So my example, I share it with you because I think it's a great example of showing, transforming when the fear arises through breath awareness and through the art of suffering. And I'll talk about the art of suffering in a minute so you don't get too worried. Transforming is a more long-lasting healing than just ignoring and pushing it away. So in that scenario, that was my opportunity. I really felt, I'm just trying to be real here. I really felt like the last 6 months have been what I've worked on my whole life to feel safe. And I feel like I'm safe. Like I had this awareness the other day, like I can never be hurt again. I will always be safe. God is my God is my provider, protector. And that's good news. And that's good to know that those words alone, that came from being willing to sit with the fear again and process it and not push it away. There is a skill to suffering well. Did you know that? The art of suffering, and it's going to be your spiritual practice for the rest of your life. The first time I heard it, I'm like, I'm a religious science teacher. The art of suffering? Am I going to develop a skill of suffering? But what it is learning practices how to be with that suffering that is arising without it taking you down deeper and getting lost in it. And it requires, it really requires some consciousness, requires some ability to be still, to be with yourself, to not run, to not escape, to be with it. Okay, from your newsletter, I thought it was so great. All the woo is keeping us from dealing with our poo. Instead of medicating with Marlboros and martinis, we might be doing it with metaphysics and macrobiotics. Daniel Laporte. Thank you, Reverend Jill. That was funny. So the art of suffering. All right. I think we have a slide on it. So the art of suffering is really beginning to be aware of when suffering arises. Okay. Aware when our body is going through anxiousness or aware when we've been triggered. So having awareness of my emotional nature, I'm sure you all do. Okay. We have awareness. And a lot of times we can't deal with it in that moment because of timing or we're at work or, there's other issues. But loving ourselves and loving our journey is about taking some time to be with that consciously. And maybe it might look something like this. Noticing when you feel some anxiousness or troubling emotion and maybe asking, who's feeling this? I mean, that's a deep question, just sitting with who's feeling this. Another thing is to just take a few minutes to breathe and to begin to notice what this feels like in your body. Because remember, this is a body experience. And the more you can be aware of what's happening in the body, it takes it out of the mind. You don't want to ruminate on all the situations and the stories. The thinking and the analyzing keeps it alive. So we want to unhook from the mind and the thought and bring it awareness into the body, because when you bring it into the body, you're going to transform it. You're going to breathe through it. It's going to start processing. It's going to start feeling. And so you're invited to allow it to allow yourself to feel it, and even allow the feeling to grow. When you just sit with it and you feel it and you feel something deeply, it will pass. Okay. So we're willing to dive in, and yes, it will pass. And then there's a part of us that's going, I'm still trying to get rid of it, right? I'm still trying to get rid of it, but rather than just pushing it away, I'm going to be with it, and it begins to transform. So taking a few minutes to breathe, maybe touch your heart, fully experience consciously exactly what's happening in the body. Give it your attention, not by thinking about it, but by breathing into the body. And most of all, offering love and compassion to yourself. I am here. I am fully here. I'm having this experience of, say, fear, anxiety, loneliness. I'm having an ache in my body. Maybe my body feels sick, and maybe I'm really feeling fearful about my health. Acknowledge whatever is there. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself comfort. And I'm very here, simply allowing what is there to arise without trying to override it, analyze it, or make it go away. Give yourself comfort. I am here. I am whole exactly as I am. I am a whole spiritual being. You may not be able to say that right away, but the art of being with this practice is to be able to basically be able to process your nervous system, to move that and to come back into it. You got to manage the nervous system before you can go to higher consciousness and know a deeper truth. We don't want to avoid it. So let's close and summarize this. So we're going to, once we've processed authentically, been through that, there is a place of awareness that can arise. I believe that our intention, our attention should be on positive things, grateful things, spiritual truth. My intention for this year was, I will see the spiritual truth underneath all the conditions. So the intention is seeing a spiritual truth, knowing a spiritual truth, knowing it gets better and better, gets better and better, this positivity. But at the very same time, having that other transformational skill to be able to not spiritual bypass and then have to come back and do it all again. That's funny, right? Come on. But to transform it here. So let's take a breath. As we close this out, we take a breath and feel and experience whatever has arisen, whatever insights have come to you, whatever has shifted, whatever has woken up, whatever awareness has come. We came into this experience together with an intention to get exactly what we needed. So for a moment in your own consciousness, just be grateful for whatever that is and whatever will be revealed. And then we gently and deeply and purposefully remember a deeper truth, that there's one life, the infinite divine and holy presence, the spirit of wholeness, the part within us that absolutely knows that when the ducks are going all over the place, that's all a part of the wholeness. That's what wholeness looks like today. And that this wholeness is the life within us. It is the abundance and the joy and the health and the vibrancy, eternal life. It is right here where we are. It is the spiritual truth. And I know that there is a part in me that sometimes forgets, but there is a part in me that has never forgotten. And is that part that I tap into deeply this morning. And I'm grateful. And from this place, I know for each and every one of us that spiritual awakening, spiritual wholeness is the truth of our being. And every day we wake up to that more and more, and it's joyful. And I claim that joy. I'm grateful for that joy. So I just step into that and I move into that presence that is grateful in every way. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for it all. And from this place, we just take a deep breath and we let it be so. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.